Hello. Sorry. My phone actually lost power, so I'm sorry about that. I'm back to finish the portion that I was about to get onto. This is still in regards to the UPDF. I mentioned, my last words were that the people that were the Rwandese who were part of Sunday's demise, one of them has been appointed to be the assistant of the gentleman appointed, the Ugandan appointed to take over his position. What does that mean? It means that the person who was appointed, the Rwandese person who is below this Ugandan person who is filling Sunday's shoes, holds all the power. So it is just ceremonial that they appoint this Ugandan person to replace Sunday, but it doesn't mean that his name is Bagonza. Bagonza is the Rwandese person who is the deputy to Kajumba. It doesn't mean that Kajumba is the boss here. This other person who was seen in the killing on the scene of Afande Sunday is going to be the boss of the whole thing. He's the one who will make decisions. He's the one in touch with the Muhozi people. He's the one who is watching Kajumba to make sure that he doesn't slip up. Okay? Bagonza was seen around the scene, so I already mentioned that. They're eliminating, obviously, all these people to pave way for Muhozi's presidency. I think that's that about that. Next one, we're moving on to Pastor Mukuye. I mentioned in maybe 2 of my last videos that Pastor Mukuye is being checked out for what he knows and how brilliant he is, and if he can influence the minds of Ugandans. It's evidential in the time that he was on television, where Muhozi and Museveni actually set up the interview to have him at that event, and the questions that were asked to him were by those people just to test out how much crowd he can pull and how many people follow him and how much he can get trusted by people. They have seen that indeed Pastor Mukuye pulls a good crowd, and he's an intellectual, he's a brilliant young man, and so they've decided to set him up with 2 women. One of them is called Nava, and the other one is called Mbabazi, in pretense that they're coming back to teach Pastor Mukuye's folk, or people that he preaches to. They're coming to teach him or teach them about cooperatives. But essentially they're coming, Rwandese use their women a lot because they believe that they're very attractive, and that other people like Ugandans or whoever, the men are weak and they will fall for them, and somehow something will grow from there. So they've sent 2 ladies to him to talk to him, to come to his church, to talk to the people in the church, to tell them about life-changing activities such as cooperative societies that used to be, because they used to be successful. Museveni came to power and broke everything that was ever working for Ugandans. Nothing works anymore. All those cooperatives that used to be are no longer existent. Purposely, because they want to make sure that Ugandans do not thrive to be able to regroup, to have their country and run their country in their own, however they want. Okay? Another person who has been put on target is Brigadier General Nalweyiso. Museveni told his family that she's no longer adding value to the regime. Many of you know Nalweyiso, that recently she's been used to speak on radio or TV a lot. She recently said that Bobi Wine is running on his own. Nobody wants him. His home they're just protecting it as they protect any president. But I don't see these people in the homes of Mugisha Muntu or the peasant president or Jema president. Why are those people free to live in the country how they want, but Kyagulanyi Ssentamu cannot have his home for himself? Until today, the home has turned into a military barracks, which is a really, really sad truth. So Nalweso has been sent out to the media houses to come and just, you know, she's tired also. She's much older. I think she's in her 80s or something. She's coming to just, you know, sprinkle onto all the damage that's already been done, to try to turn people away from that, to try to paint Museveni as a good person and all of that. But as we know, the facts are out there and we're chasing them. Somehow we will get them. Somehow they will leave, and very soon. So Nalweso has been, they have an expiration date for her. Apparently, she has been cited for elimination by Museveni and his family. They want to promote or front another woman to go to the media and be given a lot of money to run projects impacting people directly, because Museveni wants to go back to get back into people's hearts, because he feels like he has lost all of that. It used to be Museveni was like a small god. A lot of people believed in him. A lot of people liked him. He says Ugandans hate him, and he knows that for a fact. So he's going to bring a fresh face of a woman to replace people like Nalweso, because Nalweso will no longer be here in a few days or whatever. They will eliminate Nalweso. So anybody who's a family member of hers, let them know that she has an expiration date per Museveni and their family. These people, oh boy. Museveni assures these people that he's going to make Ugandans dirt poor. You know, when they say dirt poor is when you can't afford what to eat, and you look in the dirt to try to find what to eat. That is what they call dirt poor. That you can't think of going to a place to find food because you don't even have the money to do that. So Museveni vows, because Ugandans hate him and that Ugandans did not vote him and Ugandans don't like him, he's going to make them suffer. That the person who will be making chapati on the streets will not afford to do that anymore because of the heightened prices of everything that entails making chapati. Because Ugandans have tarnished his name nationally and internationally. Museveni knows he looks as bad as the worst people that have ever lived in this life. So because of that, he's going to punish Ugandans by making sure that they don't have a livelihood that will make them proud or that they'll earn from their sweat. He used to be a darling and trusted partner of the Western world, and he's very sad that he has lost that, and he blames all of that on Museveni, on Ugandans for waking up. Apparently, us waking up is a problem. So he plans on major operations to make sure that Ugandans stay poor. And he's going to do this through the URA, heavy taxes, that's Uganda Revenue Authority, heavy taxes. He's going to do this through KCCA. They'll be sending people off the streets. Anybody who's practicing or selling or whatever, they're going to set up fees where you go to the market to sell, or tariffs on your stuff or anything that you have to sell that will cost you way too much so that you make losses and give up on trying to stay in business. He's going to use UNRWA, also the Roads Authority, to make sure that Ugandans are disgusted by trying to use transport as a means to earn a living. All those border people will be chased from the city. All those taxi people will be taxed heavily. They are going to reduce how many people travel in a taxi at a time. It used to be maybe 14. Now it's going to be 10 people in each taxi. I don't care if you want to pile up 15 people in the middle of the night. Not happening. They will only allow 10 people. And if you have more, be prepared to pay those taxes, because they're also going to have checkpoints like never before. Everywhere possible, they'll have checkpoints and shorter distances so that you just give up on this transport thing. Okay? That's their plan. That's what I'm telling you. It's their plan, but it could be otherwise because we have some things that are in the works right now. In the prisons, oh boy, 3 of the high-ranking prisons officers have been killed, are dead, and are in the fridge, but have not been communicated to the public. Museveni and Muhoozi and their people have killed 3 prisons officers, executives, and have them in fridges in places that they know better. Why? Because they've treated new prisoners or foot soldiers leniently. They've been kinder to new people in prison. And because when they give them orders to treat them horribly, they can't bear to do so. What they've done is abduct those 3, torture, and kill them and store them in the freezers where they know best. Maybe someday they'll talk about it, but they're not obligated to because they really don't care. They really don't care if you people want to know where your people are or not. Many people during the 2021 elections were killed and dipped in acid. They were. No history, no record, nothing. There's a gentleman that I heard about who used to own Speak Resort. You know Speak Resort in Kampala? This gentleman, when Museveni came to power in the 19 whatevers, when he worked for the Obote office first as a part of the military, Museveni was patrolling and seeing what areas he could get himself to, what assets he can acquire and how he can acquire them. As he skimmed while in the Obote's government, when he took power, he took on activities that he had planned and had seen and felt were in time to do. One of them was taking over Speak Resort. It is said that the owner of Speak Resort land, which used to be called Jaja Villas. Now, when you hear Jaja Villas, it is likely that this person is a Muganda. As you know, when he came, a lot of Baganda suffered from Museveni coming. Not to say that other regions did not, because all regions have felt Museveni one way or another. In northern Uganda, where I come from, 18 to 20 years of the LRA war. Mugisha Muntu, unforgivable general, was the general at the time that Acholi people were being killed. He ordered the steps of the military people who killed the Acholi people in northern Uganda with great humiliation. Great humiliation. I'm talking raiding schools like Abore girls, raiding a whole school of girls, raiding families. Some people were sodomized right before their children, wives, and husbands while they're watching, just to dehumanize them and humiliate them. They did that for so many years, and someone like Mugisha Muntu now runs up as an opposition of Museveni, and we don't question? No. No. This is why the opposition is all fake except His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, and that is why they treat him with such evil, because they were hoping that they are done with people in the opposition. They were hoping that they won all opposition's hearts or won them to their side. It is why you see opposition people going onto NBS television at night and having these bogus talk shows and using big words like, what is this man with eyebrows crossing each other? What is his name? They go there because they're paid. They're comfortable. Even when they lose an election, they know this guy is going to feed them. One of the people who disappoints me the most is this guy of Jema. If you recall when the Arua incident happened, the Arua incident where Bobby Wine survived assassination and death thereafter, Bobby Wine has actually gone to campaign for that man of Jema, the briefcase political party. He's the president of the party. All the MPs are in him. All of the secretaries are him. all of the whomever belongs to a party is in that same Jema man. But I kid you not, during this recent parliament that's outgoing, this same man, okay, was the one used by Museveni to pass a bill or prepare a bill and pass it against the NUP party. Bobby Wine almost died because of this Jema guy. What is his name? Please, somebody remind me. Bassa Alirwa. Goodness. We loved Bassa Alirwa at the time. But that goes to show how fake the opposition is. Yes, John, thank you, Baptist. Mukasa Mbide. They go and throw big English on these platforms, okay? Last night he was saying something about a pendulum swinging, blah, blah, blah. Great. None of them hope and wish that things change because they prefer the status quo. That is why when Bobby Wine came, he hit them left and right, and they said, who is this guy? We have to do something about them. In fact, Kagame is disappointed that Museveni has not been able to take out Bobby Wine yet. He said, what are you doing? How can this small boy take on you like this? But let me say this. Every generation has its own gifts. And Bobby Wine is our gift. This generation will successfully beat Museveni hands down. Without a doubt. Because God gave them gifts that those other people previously don't have. And can't challenge. Because according to Museveni, Bobby Wine should have his phone. And he should be, and when he captures the NUP executives, like Joel Senyonyi and Secretary General Louis Rubongoya and Nubian Lee, they should be able to dial Bobby Wine's number, and Bobby Wine should be able to answer and say, hello, my people, how are you doing? Oh, I'm here, I'm in this place. That is according to the generation of Museveni. But our generation knows about burner phones, where you use it once and throw it away. It's untraceable, cannot be found, they can't locate where you are, and all of that good stuff. So in the meantime, while they reminisce in their old knowledge, we are making steps forward. We're making steps forward. I look forward to the Geneva address. But going back to this gentleman, Speak Resort land was owned by somebody called Paul Wamala, an orthopedic doctor. In fact, it is said that Paul Wamala was flown in at some point when Idi Amin had an injury and needed some orthopedic treatment, like a bone doctor, a bone orthopedic, I believe, yes. He was flown in to come and treat Idi Amin at the time. So, you know, in watching his assets and so on and so forth, eventually he moved back into Uganda to live and watch his assets, like retirement should be, which these people don't understand. Museveni leached Paul Wamala in acid. Until today, the people of Paul Wamala have never buried him. They don't know where he is. But when these people talk and joke around, when our satellites capture this information, we hear all of these atrocities because they tell each other. They tell each other jokingly, in a funny way. Like I said, when they're torturing NUP foot soldiers or Bobby Wine supporters, all these Rwandese soldiers are like an audience watching a show in a theater, watching a performance. They laugh while these people cry. When they're being punished, when they're using pliers to pluck their nails, these Rwandese people are laughing at how funny these people cry. So these guys are sick. They're sick. They're terrible people. Anything that anybody tells you that they've done, believe them. So the owner of Jaja Villas was leached in acid, and Museveni took over that land free and clear. Took it over, no questions asked, nothing. When he came into power, that land is now called, the hotel is called Speak Resort. It's one of their assets. That is how evil, cold-hearted these people are. So believe them when they tell you. When Muhoozi sends out tweets and says, I feel sad because we've only killed 22 people, he does mean it. Because that's how they live. These are the people who feed Muslims pork. Their only thing that they don't do is what these people enjoy belittling you about. All these Muslim clerics who go to State House at the end of Ramadan are fed pork. Prisoners who are Muslim who are in jail, by the way, I've heard that jails in Uganda look like mosques because when it's time to pray, everybody turns to one direction. They face the east and start to pray. That is how many Muslims are in incarceration by the Museveni people. So all of us who are in the Arab world, some of you work for these very high-ranking people. Spill a secret in their ear. Tell them about how these Museveni people love or how they treat Muslims. Like cockroaches. Tell them. Because they don't know. When they make deals with the Museveni people, it's sick. I saw somebody in the UAE recently, Arab Emirates, making deals with Museveni. Why? He does not respect Muslims. One of the sheikhs who was abducted from his home, somebody remind me of his name. He was taken without questioning, abducted, taken away, put in a place incommunicado for days, tortured, and executed right in front of his family. They brought him back and executed him right before his wives and children. This is how sick these people are. I have so many torture stories that I can tell you. Sometimes I can't sleep when I've heard one of them. These people are sick and they won't stop. So spill the beans. Tell someone. Tell these people in these countries where Muslims come from how much these people are despicable. Because maybe that will help us, our Muslim brothers. Maybe that will bring some decency back. Because many of them who are prisoners will tell you that they're fed pork as soon as they're taken into custody in those prisons, just to humiliate them. That's why many prisoners come out feeling inhuman. Inhuman. Thank you, Musa. Yes. Diane, yes. Sheikh Shirib. They come out feeling they need their default settings restarted to say that you are a human being. Yes, you are the father of so-and-so. Yes, you are the husband of so-and-so. Yes, you are the son of so-and-so. Because they don't feel it anymore. And that is the goal of Rwandese. In Acholi, where they cut off people's mouths, ears, just to humiliate you. Imagine having your lips cut off. Do you know how dry your mouth can be for the rest of your life? There is a disease in northern Uganda called nodding disease. Nobody knows where it's from. It is likely that the waters have been poisoned. We are yet to test this disease and find out what exactly or where it stems from. But children are born with a disease where they have to hit their head on whatever is in front of. If she's cooking or he is cooking, he bangs his head on that whatever until the episode stops. They call it nodding disease because it mimics the action of what is going on until the episode stops. Some of them go for 10 minutes. Imagine a child before a fire going like this constantly. Some will die after the event. It's it. Do you know how many fathers have walked away? Many, because the disease cannot be explained. How many of those mothers are struggling just to put food in the mouth? If a mother has 3 of those children, do you think she can get anything done? No. Will those children ever go to school? No. Do you know the stigma of that woman and her family having those children? Everybody thinks that family has something going on. These children, the mothers are forced to tie these children to a string like a goat, tie them to a tree, so that the mother can go to the bush, to the garden, to dig and make some food for them. This is what people actually go through in Uganda, because they poison the stream of water along where the disease has caught people. There is a stream, and people who are sicker are along that stream. Okay? That is what these people came to do, these Rwandese people. They came to do. So believe them when they say that they are going to kill somebody. When they say they want Bobi Wine's head, it is true. When they say we will catch it, it is true. It is true. Muhoozi threatens his father that if he doesn't become the president of Uganda, he's going to release all the videos of prisoners that they have captured. They do capture those videos. Recently, they released a photo of Mrs. Kyagulanyi Barbara. They released the picture of her being mistreated. They pride in such. You know, it's like the devil drinking blood. They enjoy it. So believe them when they say it is because they truly are that way. They are. I finished that. So there's three prisons executives who have been killed, and they're in the fridge somewhere. Muhoozi knows where they are. 50 prison wardens, 179 military officers, and 356 police officers who were seen voting for Bobi Wine are in Muhoozi's fridge. Do you remember when the two gentlemen from Kenya came to support Bobi Wine during the beginning of sometime during the political during the election campaigns? Those two gentlemen speak about a fridge where a lot of prisoners, in fact, they say the brother of Kahindo Tafire has been there for many years. And those guys say that those prisons are like mosques because of so many Muslims being detained there. In those prisons now, they have added 50 prison wardens, 179 military officers, and 356 police officers who were seen voting for Bobi Wine are in those fridges. So if you're looking for someone who is in the military and you can't find them, in the prisons wards service and you can't find them, or just in the police at large, they are possibly being detained or held by Muhoozi in his fridge. They're asking them, why did they support Bobi Wine? Because according to these people, any armed forces is not free to support any political party, especially not His Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, because they know the power that he holds and they don't want him to succeed. They could have voted FDC and that would be no problem. They could have voted this peasant party, that could be no problem. They could have voted Jema or Mugisha Muntu's party and that would be no problem. But because they voted His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, they are paying for that dearly. They're going to be taken to court-martial and eventually they will kill them. They're treating them as terrorists at the moment only because they elected Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Just that. You don't need a crime in Uganda as long as you support Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. You are a terrorist. You're a every crime in the book, including what's that crime for espionage? All of that is your crime. Trumped up, but those are your crimes. That is why the whole justice system is appointed by him, for him to do his deeds. And they report to his son-in-law, Karugire, who is his attorney. Everything is lined up around these people. And it'll take us a lot to undo, but we will. As a country, we need a full reset. Just like when you buy a cell phone and have to put in particulars of how you want that phone to operate for you, including choosing your language, choosing the region, We have to reset our constitution back to what it used to be when it worked for everyone. We have to clean up all ministries. We have to clean up, yes, thank you, John. Treason is the crime that everyone now is, accused of treasonous activity. We are going to have to reset Uganda like we reset phones when we buy them brand new. Or like we reset, like a child goes to school in nursery and learns the alphabet, learns the vowels, consonants, learns the ABCs, learns how to sing. That is what we have to do when Bobby Wine comes to his presidency very soon. It is unfortunate. Everything that you can think of has been ruined. The gains that they speak about are their personal gains. Personal gains. Nothing for Uganda. As you see, he still vows to make sure that Ugandans are dirt poor. In the barracks, as you know, there were no polling agents for NUP because, like I said, the military or the armed services is a partisan service only to Museveni and his family. They are not free. Despite being Ugandans with a will, they are not free. They can't vote for anyone. So these soldiers, the 179 military officers and the 356 police officers and the 50 prisons wardens who are in Muhoozi's fridge right now, their only crime is voting for His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and being profiled as supporting him somehow. All of them are in Muhoozi's refrigerator, the fridge that the Kenyans described. Ministry of Health. I'm almost done, so don't worry. It's been a long day. I had these for 2 days, so I've built up quite a bank of information here. The Ministry of Health, listen, led by Jen Ruth Acheng, who has also been appointed by Muhoozi to be one of the executives to manage his fund. Apparently, Muhoozi, who has never worked a day in his life, who is a purported general and a drunk, who is appointed by his father to CDF position, who has lived for 50 years and most of his 50 years being supported by his father, living in State House rent-free, has a fund. Where do you think that comes from? Obviously, Ugandan assets that are sold without being publicized, such as the minerals and all the money that they take from the Bank of Uganda, the Central Bank of Uganda. All that money is personal money. It's not money for any Ugandan. So anyway, he now has a fund, apparently, that is going to come out and start distributing money to Ugandans, this Muhoozi person. Jen Ruth Acheng, who is the Minister of Health, has been prepared to pronounce or announce a major disease outbreak that they have manufactured. Actually, today in the Monitor newspaper, I saw a publication about anthrax. I don't know if that is the disease that they are talking about, but it's likely there may be others in the works. Anthrax is a disease that comes from, if you do some research, it comes from animals or animal husbandry or from the soil because of the animal feeds. They feed from the soil, and so the disease it catches the respiratory system and then is transferred from person to person. There are signs that you can look for, such as darkening spots on the skin, just so you know. But these people are so desperate that they can engineer any disease possible. Museveni till today wears a mask. His whole family wears a mask because he prays that something comes back that's deadly. Besides covering their old faces, they wear masks to cover the shame that they live through every day. To the fact that even when Muhoozi speaks and praises the peaceful election process on January 15 and around that time, he cannot look Ugandans in the eye. None of them can face the cameras straight without blinking and say whatever they have to say, because all they're saying are lies. So many efforts have been made by Museveni and his family to try to create a virus or some kind of disease that can affect Ugandans as a whole so they can put them back on lockdown. Museveni's preferred governance is with Ugandans on lockdown and dirt poor, which is something that they're striving to do. So watch any day now, there will be an announcement of something going on. Also, Jen Ruth Acheng has a plan to immunize Ugandan children with sickle cell vaccine. I'm from the medical field. This couldn't be any more stupid. Sickle cell anemia is a genetic condition. It takes a perfect match to make 100% between both parents for a child to be born sickle cell anemic or with the sickle cell disease. That means not all Ugandans carry enough aggregate of sickle cell that them and their husband or wife will produce a sickle cell baby. So this sickle cell thing is just a facade, because what they're intending to do is to inject babies with the HIV virus. I have a video which I'll share again about how when Museveni came to power, he used the tool of HIV virus to kill a lot of prominent Uganda or successful Ugandans who were doing really well. Many in northern Uganda were injected when they went for treatment with HIV virus, and they got even sicker to die. Many soldiers at the time were given the HIV virus, and then they passed it on and spread it on, and many of them are gone. So in this guise of vaccinating Ugandans with sickle cell vaccine, which is not okay, they're going to be giving those babies HIV virus. It is the government's policy to inject 80% of people of Uganda with HIV. Most HIV is gotten through needles these days, not sexually transmitted like it always is. That still happens, but not always, because they've devised an easier way for them through needles. Many prisoners will come out and tell you that when they were in prison, they were injected with certain things that they don't know. Many prisoners come back HIV positive, because in their hopes that these people will be gone in a few years, because they have the power to hold medication that maintain people who have HIV virus. And so without medicine, people will just die. They still inject people with HIV virus like they did in the 90s and the 80s. Okay? Posturing. This is another area now that we're going to. With efforts to try to clean up their image on the Western world or on the international platform, they are going to posture things, to put things in place to show, like the EU Parliament, for example, that they're making the adjustments that were required in the bill that passed, in the vote that passed day before yesterday. What they're going to do is they're going to assemble police and military and JAT officers, showing that those were the people who were indeed the ones who committed the atrocities on January 15th, around the time when the internet was off. They are going to get, obviously Ugandans, you know, they are going to parade them as the people who beat up people and killed people during the election period. But we all know that Museveni got militia from Suluhu in Tanzania, Kagame, and some from Central Africa, Central Africa Republic. Those were the people who came and beat up people, including some Ugandan. Of course, the Rwandese were there. But those are the people but now they're going to parade Ugandans who are in the police, military, and JAT, and all the other offices, to sacrifice them for prosecution over international pressure. They are going to sacrifice them as the ones who committed those crimes, so that the international community can release some pressure on them. Okay? Because of the European Union address. They're going to parade them in military courts, take them, bring them, you know how they come, they do that. Oh, the judge is in the bathroom. Oh, the judge is not here today. Oh, come back next week. Come back 3 months from now. Something's going on. They are going to do that with full media attention. Full, okay? That is going to be blasted all over international. You know, because right now, Museveni has banned all media in Uganda from publicizing or from showing the EU plenary or the event at the EU where the bill about the discussion about Bobi Wine took place. All media houses, unless they want their license taken away, Museveni said none of them should speak about the EU event. So none of them are. But when it's time to cover this falsehood, they will all be ready with cameras to do that. They plan to use the statistics of those people who they are going to assemble and put forward after they've been brought to martial military court and treated whatever, given their crime. He's going to use those statistics to try to clean up as accountability to the European Union. Remember, I said one of the conditions that are required with this vote is that Museveni gives accountability of what happened around the time of the election while cameras or while the internet or cell service was off. So these military people that are going to be paraded, that they're the ones who did these things, are the same statistics that they're going to send to the EU to satisfy that requirement, that they're the ones who committed the human rights abuses at that time. They are also suggesting or thinking about arresting Muhoozi in a fake way. They are going to arrest him, ruffle him, put him in prison in a jail cell, which he probably won't last 5 minutes. They'll get him through the back door back to State House to his comforts, for public display, just to look to harmonize, and that is also going to be publicized and blown out of proportion by media to show that, oh my goodness, he has done it to his own son. This man is changing. No. It's going to be just for show. It'll last just a moment. So while Muhoozi is being held up, they will take him to court. Witnesses will testify that it is the dead generals. These people that they've been parading will be killed, okay? The ones I mentioned that they're going to show that they're the ones who did these things will be killed. So somebody will come and testify while Muhoozi is being held and say, no, it was not Muhoozi. I saw Junior, Sam, John, Susan, those people who were brought to court. I saw them with my own eyes. They're the ones who committed these atrocities. So then they'll let Muhoozi off, like they did Amama Mbabazi. Who remembers Amama Mbabazi saga? After him and Museveni, you know, same thing like Mugisha Muntu. Eventually, their foolishness ends, and Ugandans are lied to, and we've believed them. Many people believed that Amama Mbabazi was legitimate, but you just saw his wife run for office. Amama Mbabazi was never touched or scorched. Nobody of Amama Mbabazi was mishandled. But Bobi Wine cannot breathe in Uganda. A man who has no knowledge of gun usage. Never. Amama Mbabazi came from the bush with Museveni. But he ran alongside Museveni, and Museveni felt safe with him in the opposition. Fake opposition. That should tell you that we are done with all these people and their fake opposition. Our only person is His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Museveni has stopped all media. I did that already. Salim Saleh, you know, I feel like Salim Saleh is the more dangerous, the more cantankerous of them. He likes dubious activities. Okay, evidently. So apparently Salim Saleh, Kaihura, same group, they would like vehicle and boda theft to start, courtesy of Damulira and Kaihura, with the advice of Salim Saleh that they should resume vehicle and boda theft, meaning that people who are boda riders may be parked somewhere and, you know, go into the bathroom or whatever, you come back and find your boda gone. People, taxi owners, you know, we finish whatever you're doing, or they could just come and take your vehicle anyway. So they want to resume those activities because they need those vehicles and borders to be used in South Sudan. So anybody who loses any of these assets, borders and vehicles or taxis or whatever, will never see them again because they're sending them to South Sudan. Okay, that's their plan. But this will cause a lot of fear because some of those border owners will be killed on their border. Some of them will be hit, or some of them they'll use machete. Some of the people in the taxis will be killed very scary way, so that people are discouraged from trying to travel to get to places. Part of another thing also, part of Makerere University land has been sold to Chinese people. They want to build and construct laboratories, hospitals, and also a production factory for hospital equipment. Okay, Museveni was paid billions. As you know, his government is failing because 1, he doesn't have any more secrets. 2, he has no money. That's why he's trying so hard to come out and try to paint himself cleaner so that he can get money from the Western world. You are hearing a lot about negotiations and that Bobi Wine should come and work with Museveni. We are not going to do that because of these very reasons. We cannot negotiate with somebody when our side has lost so many lives and those lives have not been accounted for. We cannot work with the government with a cheated election. Biabakama has not come out to clean up from the video that was taken from the system, the Electoral Commission page, while he was reading the election. His voice is recorded, switching numbers for Bobi Wine and Museveni. He exchanged the winnings. So whatever Museveni is said to have won with, those are Bobi Wine's numbers. That in itself has not been clarified. We have people who have gone missing for a very long time. Nabanja says he has Chibalama. We need that accountability. We need those 18 people back before we can work with Museveni, or even think about whatever the negotiations are that they're talking about. Bobi Wine's home is still under siege. Why would you negotiate with somebody like that who does not believe that you should exist? Has Bobi Wine asked for negotiations? No. If anybody should ask for negotiations, it is not the other people who ran against Bobi Wine. It is not any other party. It is supposed to be him. Why are other people making Bobi Wine negotiate or trying to say he should? For that reason, it's not happening. Museveni has never held any agreements in the past. You can see that even Mao failed in his efforts to transfer power. Sijui nini nini he was saying when he went to work for Museveni. Whatever his agreements are, Museveni never honored, which he never honors. So he will never have a negotiation with Bobi Wine. It's never going to happen. Can we reverse roles with Museveni going through what Bobi Wine is going through, and Bobi Wine take over the White House, the State House, and we see if Museveni will want to negotiate with Bobi Wine? Can we do that fair trade? All of you people saying he should negotiate, can they trade places just for a moment to see if indeed the Museveni camp will want to negotiate with Bobi Wine? Despite everything that's done, everybody that's gone, everybody that's been killed, everything that has happened, do you think, being in Bobi Wine's shoes, Museveni would actually offer to negotiate with Bobi Wine? I don't think so. Ugandans in general are tired of Museveni. Negotiation or not, we don't want Museveni in Uganda. It is done. We don't want Museveni, period. All Ugandans do not want him. So negotiation or not, or whatever the case might be, we don't want a negotiation. We don't want to work with Museveni's government, because in his government is where people are dying daily, is where he decides who lives and who doesn't. is where he decides to finish Ugandans as a human being, is where we still have people in prisons with no crimes committed. Why would we negotiate with somebody like that? That will never happen. People like Mwanga Chivumbi, where Museveni sent people to come and shoot up his home. This person is held in reverse. Why would we negotiate with somebody who has such mentality? All of you, Mukasa Mbide and on and on and on and on, Andrew Mwenda, there's no such thing as negotiation, because you can't negotiate with unfair cards. If we had fair cards and they had and we had the same cards, that, you know, our people are not dying and all this suffering that Noop has gone through and still going through, maybe there would be room to negotiate. But we're being crushed by this idiot. We cannot negotiate. It's not a level playing field. Impossible. We can't. Realistically, you interreligious council, or you elites, or you whoever is being sent to go and ask for negotiations, it is not a leveled playing field. There's no room for negotiations because it's impossible. So many questions unanswered, so many circumstances involved, and one is oppressing the other consistently. What does that make that make sense? Impossible. And why is it Bobby Wine that you want to negotiate with? Why don't you people just go on and negotiate your own deals with Museveni? Why must Bobby Wine come to negotiate with Museveni? Why? Why? There's nothing Museveni could offer him that is good enough. We want our seat. We want the presidency. Bobby Wine, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, is the rightfully elected president of Uganda. Period. We don't want to negotiate to be under Museveni, because that is what he means by negotiation. Even in his negotiation, in his mind, Bobby Wine should work under him. Do you see how evil that is? We do not want a negotiation because His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu won the election fair and square. And there is proof everywhere. I'm talking online with Biabakama's voice. I'm talking DR forms. I'm talking people. I'm talking videos. I mean, documents. Even testimony from soldiers. Even some people who, I can't even mention their names, but leaders, people in high places in Uganda say this was the most sham election they have ever lived through. This one was the most sham. So, negotiations, impossible. Zero possibility. Zero. Zero. It is not a leveled playing field. And it's not Museveni to call for negotiation. And we are not going to work under Museveni. It is His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu who deserves the presidency. And we're coming for you, Museveni. You and all of your cronies. We're coming for you. Thank you, everyone. That was long, but I hope we got to chat and feel better. Don't lose hope. Please don't. As you can see, a lot is happening. Stay tuned for the Geneva conference that our president will be speaking. We'll get a lot out of there. I'll bring you some more news tomorrow. Stay well, stay hopeful, stay focused. Do whatever you can do with what you have, wherever you are. I promise you, anything is powerful. Anything you can do is powerful. Even if it means uplifting the next person. Give hope. Hope, life without hope is dead. Give hope to someone else. When someone calls you and they're down and sad and worried, give hope to them. Treat our armed forces with respect and dignity. Give them a few shillings. Treat them well. Offer them help, whatever they may need. Because their heart is hurting. They're just being forced and they're fearful. That's the end of our session right now. You all have a great morning, night, afternoon, evening, whatever the time is, wherever you are. I love you and be well.